Hi fourth graders, welcome to the second video on commas. I've turned the page and I've got a clean empty space. I don't need commas again because it's just a continuation of the previous page. So next we're going to talk about using commas in introductory phrases and clauses. Introductory phrases and clauses. You'll see in the word introductory the tiny word intro. So that means things at the beginning. So we use commas to separate long phrases at the beginning of sentences. We use commas to separate long phrases at the beginning of sentences. So for example, I'm going to do an example here. After checking my knee pads, I started off. After checking my knee pads, I started off. You'll see we don't get to the subject of the sentence, I, until 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, after 5 words. After checking my knee pads is the introductory phrase. It's what starts our sentence, and so I need a comma before I get to the subject and the predicate. After checking my knee pads, comma, I started off. Now, let me give you an example where you do not need a comma because the opening phrase is short. In time, you'll find yourself looking forward to practice. In time, you'll find yourself looking forward to practice. The subject of the sentence is you. It only took me 2 words before I get to you. In time is the introductory phrase here, and it's short. It's not long, it's short. This is short, so we don't need a comma. Now, I know that can seem subjective. In other words, sometimes people might throw a comma in here and sometimes they won't. I just want to emphasize that it's with long introductory phrases that we use a comma, and with short ones, it's not necessary. Okay, the next one is the ways we use commas are in dates and addresses. Remember, commas are used to set off or separate words and phrases to make them easier for the reader to understand. Dates and addresses. Okay. My family's address is 123 Main Street, Frisco, Texas, 75035. That's not really my address. I made that up. My family's address is 123 Main Street, Frisco, Texas, 75035. Now we need to put in commas that will separate the pieces of the address to make it easier to read. 123 Main Street, that's the house number and the street. Now I have the city. I need to separate street from the city Frisco with a comma. We've got Frisco, Texas. Frisco is the city, Texas is the state. I need to separate them with a comma. And then I do not need a comma to go from a state to a number. There's no confusion here because the state is clearly different than the number, so we don't need the comma there. Okay, and then we need to add a date example for you. I will be 43 years old on April 18, 2015. I will be 43 years old on April 18, 2015. I need a comma to separate the date from the year so that we don't have confusion here. So I add a comma. We use a comma in dates to separate the date from the year. We also use commas to keep numbers clear. we use commas to help with numbers. Here's an example. Julie's car has 180,000 miles. Julie's car has 180,000 miles. That's a lot of zeros to keep up with. And you should know already from math that we use commas to separate 3 digits at a time. So I count backward. This is the ones place, the tens place, the hundreds place, and then I need a comma. And that helps me keep straight the numbers. She wants to sell it for $1,200. So again, the comma would go between the thousands place and the hundreds place. Okay, we just covered a lot. You guys are being really patient. We talked about commas in introductory phrases and clauses. We talked about them in dates and addresses and in numbers. You've done a great job. You've got a third video coming up. Thanks so much.